What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we're going to be bantering about the X factors, the difference makers for each team in the National League East division. So get locked in. Let me know down in the comments who you believe the X factor is for each team across the National League East. And we're going to begin with my first pick, and that is going to be in alphabetical order for the Atlanta Braves. And for the Braves, to me, their X factor is Vaughn Grissom. I think that when you look at what the Braves didn't do this offseason by not re-signing Dansby Swanson or even targeting any one of the four superstar shortstops that were available this offseason market, they're going into the 2023 campaign with a unknown quantity at the position of shortstop, a premium position. Now, for Atlanta, we already had our divisional ranking predictions, and we have them listed at third. But I think that there's going to be an opportunity for this player to kind of really break out and not let people know exactly who he is until the season starts. I think that for Atlanta, being able to have this kind of unknown quantity is going to give them a potential advantage if this player turns out to be the reason why they were able to walk away from Dansby Swanson. We know that when Atlanta walked away from Freddie Freeman, they got Matt Olson, and it seemed to work out just well for them. So I think that this could be another opportunity for the Braves to pick up on a quality player. Now, the next team in the division is the Miami Marlins. I think that when you look at the Marlins, they're in an interesting position, but their X factor for me is the player that was just recently acquired, Luis Arraez. I think that when you look at what this player is, it's going to change the dynamic for the Miami Marlins. I think that right now, Miami is in a very difficult position. They have three legitimate World Series contending teams ahead of them, and I don't think that they're at that level yet. I do think that with Arraez, he has the ability to kind of change the dynamic of the Marlins lineup a little bit. If they're going to be successful in 2023, and more so even beyond that, they're going to have this player kind of change the culture in that lineup and the approach. I think that by having a guy like Luis Arraez, who is more contact oriented, and you bring him into this lineup that is very home run driven, you're now going to have an opportunity to have him kind of maybe mentor a guy like Jazz Chisholm Jr., who, in my opinion, could be an even better player if he wasn't trying to hit 8,000-foot home runs. So I think that for the Marlins, this is going to be a very interesting player and a guy to really focus on for Miami's success in 2023. Now, when it comes to the New York Mets, the X factor is actually going to be one of three players: Brett Baty, Eduardo Escobar, or Mark Vientos. When you look at what these three players are, they're going to be the combination that is replacing what should have been and could have been Carlos Correa. To me, that is what makes them so significant. Now, whichever one of these players really kind of emerges as the third baseman for the New York Mets is going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I think that while the Mets didn't officially have Correa, there's a ton of eyes and a ton of Mets fans that believe that they should have had him. So there's going to be a lot of undue pressure and maybe unfair pressure on one of these three players or any combination therein. So to me, that's what makes them the X factor for the New York Mets, is all of the replacing of the Carlos Correa that should have been there. Now, as we look at the Philadelphia Phillies, to me, there's one player that truly stands out as the X factor, and that is Nicholas Castellanos. Now, many people will probably say that it's Trey Turner, and there's a lot to be said about Turner. But when it comes to the X factor, the difference maker in what's going to put the Phillies over the top, it's going to be a bounce back season from Nicholas Castellanos. You also factor in that Bryce Harper is going to be missing the first couple of months of the season, so Castellanos is going to be playing right field, and that makes him even more important. Now, Philadelphia did a very good thing in repositioning him and making him a much better defender than what he's ever been. But offensively, he has to have a better season than what he had in 2022. This was a big money acquisition for Philadelphia last offseason, and it has to play out in their favor once again if they want to get back to the World Series. So to me, the X factor for the Phillies is Nicholas Castellanos. And as we round out with the Washington Nationals, this is going to be a tough year for them. So the X factor, in my opinion, is going to be Joey Meneses. When you look at what Joey is going to be capable of doing for the Nationals, this is going to be one of the few bats of note in that lineup. I think that there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of young players to get their shot with the Nationals this season at the major league level, but I think none more so than what Joey's going to be able to provide. I think that he is going to be the kind of force in the lineup that other teams are going to game plan around. He's going to be the one that they don't want to let them beat him. So for me, that's going to be the X factor for the Washington Nationals. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who are the X factors for each of the 5 teams in the National League East? Let me know that down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, where we can keep the conversation rolling. If you want to show support for us here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast, you can follow us on all our social media channels. Again, on Twitter at banter_baseball, on our Instagram or TikTok page, Baseball Banter Broadcast. You can also do so by heading over to our blog site, laracuenteledger.com, or you can also, if you want to show even more support, head over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com, our merchandise shop. We have a ton of promo codes that you can use to save on some banter merch. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button. The majority, about 95% of our audience, is not actually subscribed to this channel. So if you love the world of Major League Baseball, you want to hear the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell for post notifications. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.